A very good morning, students. I am Shilpa Chog. Today, I will be teaching you ICT. But before we begin, I want to share something with you. Recently, I got a new gift. Can you see that? It's a laptop. Isn't it exciting? But to my surprise, when I switched on my laptop, it wouldn't function the way it should. Like, for example, when we buy a washing machine or a refrigerator, you plug it in and up it goes. It starts to function the way it should, isn't it? But it's not so in the case of a computer, be it a desktop or be it a laptop. Can you tell me why? Yes, you are absolutely right. It is because there is no software installed on it. Then the next question is, what kind of a software is required when you are going to install it on the computer for the first time? What is it that is required? Yes, so this takes us to our new lesson, software and its types. I'm sharing my presentation with you. Yes, so this is software and its types. Okay. What do you understand by a software? A software is a collection of programs that are stored and run on a computer hardware and help users to work on the computer. Yes, so they are a collection of programs. What do we understand by a program? Yes, so a program is a set of instructions and they are written in different programming languages. Yes, so a collection of all these programs is a software, and your software is installed on the hardware of your computer so that the hardware can be put to use. Otherwise, just the machine by itself is of no use. Yes, in order to make use of it or in order to use it, you have to have softwares on it. Yes, did you understand that? Let me explain this a little bit more. Okay, if we look at it from this, understand it from this diagram. So first you have your hardware. Yes, once you have your hardware, it's just like your desktop computer or your laptop. You cannot use it as such. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is, sorry, the first thing that you need to do is install a system software on it. Yes, what is a system software? A system software is basically which helps you to make use of the hardware. So it interacts with the hardware, yes, on one side, and it interacts with the user on the other side so that the machine can be put to use. Okay, so under system software, which is the kind of software would you use? What comes to your mind? You're absolutely right. The first software that is required onto a hardware is your operating system. your operating system makes the hardware usable. Without this, your machine will not work at all. Yes. So in your system software, you basically have the operating system. Operating system could be any, it could be from the Windows, Microsoft Windows, or it could be Linux, it could be Unix. Yes, that depends on which operating system someone might want to use. Then the next comes your application software. Yes, what makes up your application software? Your application software is basically all those applications that you have been using till so far. Yes, your Microsoft products like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, um, Excel, yes, your Tux Paint, your Scratch, all these, your different browsers, all these come under your application software. Did you understand this? So let me start from the bottom up. Your hardware, and then you have your operating system, which is a part of your system software. And on top of that, you have your application software. And then finally, it becomes usable for the user. So this is what is actually required for any uh, computer to be usable. Okay, all these softwares are required for the user. Did you follow this? Yes. So today, in today's lesson, we will be mainly focusing on the middle two sections, that is your system software and your application software. These are the two kind of softwares we are going to learn today. We are going to learn it in detail. So this is where we need to focus. Yes? Okay, let's move on. So your software are divided into two. One is your system software and one is your application software. Let's have a look at the definitions so that we can bring out the difference between the two. Okay. A system software, okay, it is designed as a collection of programs that controls the overall operation and internal workings of a computer system. Yes, so your basically your it basically it controls all your internal operations of the machine. Okay, it's we are only users of this software. We don't quite use, we just use them. Okay, so your system, so under your system software, let me give you an example, is your operating system. Yes, so we will be seeing the different kinds of system software in the next slide. Then what is your application software? Application software, they are a set of programs that are developed by programmers in order to perform specific types of jobs. So your application software are basically your different applications that we just discussed. It is your Word, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, etc. All these come under your application software. Your system software and application software are further branched out more. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So under your system software, you have your operating system, utility software, and your language processor. Yes. And Under your application software, you have general purpose software and specific purpose software. Yes. So let's have a look a little bit in detail about all these. First, we will go with the system software. So under your system software, as you've seen, we have the operating system, utility software, and language processor. We will begin with operating system. Let's understand what the operating system is. You already know about it. Let's revise. Yes? Okay. Operating system. It is needed to operate the computer. As I mentioned earlier also, your hardware or your computer machine is of no use unless you have a operating system on it. Okay, so in order to make the keyboard function in the way it should, or in order to use the mouse in order to use it for clicking, etc., yes, you need a operating system. All these functions are possible with the help of your operating system, which falls under your system software. Yes. Second point, it controls the overall activities of a computer. Yes, your different types of activities that you keep doing, you keep clicking or you're typing or maybe you're printing, all these activities are controlled by your system software. Which is your operating system. Then, very important, your operating system is a interface between the user and the hardware. Yes, this is what I was talking about when I was explaining the first point. It is an interface, means it comes in between the hardware and the user. So in order to make the sorry, in order to make the machine more usable, you need the operating system. Else you will not be able to use the machine at all. Okay. Fourth point, we all know when you switch on the computer for the first time, this is the first program that is loaded into the memory. Yes, the black screen that you see when you switch on your computer, actually it is your operating system booting up. So your operating system boots up first. Okay, once your operating system is up, only then you are able to use the machine. So your operating system is extremely important. Yes. Then there are different types of operating systems. Okay, one is your MS-DOS, Microsoft DOS, that is called DOS. Okay, Windows 7, Windows XP, all the different types, different versions of Windows, all of them that fall under the Windows family are, all these are your different kinds of operating systems. Then your Macintosh, Unix, Linux, all these are your different types of operating systems. Yes, did you follow that? Okay, let's move on with the second type of system software, which is your utility software. Yes, what is a utility software? Now, utility software performs specific tasks, usually to manage a computer or its devices. Yes, they perform specific tasks. For example, supposing you attach a printer to your computer. Yes, how do you think the printer understands what it needs to do or what document it needs to print? Yes, how are you handling that? We do not handle it. Actually, your operating system, your system software, okay, provides you with this facility where when we connect any kind of device to our computers, it recognizes it and it it has a program within it which makes which performs the various tasks that it should. So for example, a printer should print. The program is already available in your utility software, and that is how your printer gets printer comes to use. Okay, so your utility software performs all these kinds of functions for you. Okay, then your other utility programs that are available is your antivirus. Okay, they prevent your computer from any virus attacks. Yes, they take backups of your data, like supposing you have to there are systems where you need to store the data and regularly take backups. Backups are basically saving your data at short intervals. Okay, so these kind of activities, like supposing you are typing your Word document, and when you say it is on a auto save mode, generally we save it by pressing Ctrl S or by clicking on file and file save option, isn't it? But when we put on the auto save mode, that functionality is taking place with this kind of a facility. Yes, then recover data that has been accidentally erased. Yes, if you remember your uh, recycle bin. Yes, the best example for this is your recycle bin. Supposing you delete something accidentally, yes, it goes and gets placed in the recycle bin unless you have permanently deleted it. But there is a facility called the recycle bin where it gets stored and from where you can also recover it, isn't it? We have done this in our practical lab activities. Yes, so how to recover your files if it has got deleted accidentally. And then it also, your network facility that is there, supposing you want to make use of the internet facility, so your Wi-Fi, all these kind of facilities come under your utility software. Did you follow that? Okay. Now, let's move on to the next one, is your language processor. This is interesting, okay? There is something new for you too, okay? Now, each software is created by writing programs in computer programming languages such as Java, C, C++. Many of your parents must be using these programming languages, I'm sure, who are working in the IT field. Okay, so um, the what does the language processor do? Now let's understand this, that a computer doesn't understand any other language other than machine language. So if it doesn't understand the language of Java or C or C++, okay, it doesn't understand any of this. Okay, so basically all these programs that programmers write are converted into machine language, and the machine language actually is understood by your computer machines. Yes, so there is some kind of a translating that happens. Okay, all these all this is translated, whether it is a Java program or C++ program, all this is translated into machine language with the help of language processor. Then the question arises, what kind of language does a computer understand? Okay, it understands only the language or machine language of zeros and one. Okay, this is the only language that a computer understands. This language is called the binary language. Okay, it is highly complicated. It is not understandable so easily. There are only a few who are into this kind of work. Okay, it's very complicated. Yes, your binary language is not everyone's cup of tea. Yes. Okay, let's move on to the next type. So we have seen in system software, we had the operating system, we had the utility software, and we had the language processor. So now let's move on to the application software. Yes, the second type of software, which is your application software. Application software, under application software is your first type is your general purpose. Yes, what is a general purpose software? Now they are used to perform many tasks to fulfill general needs of users. So basically all the applications that we use, yes, like your word processing software, your Microsoft Word, electronic spreadsheet, your Microsoft Excel, database management systems. Okay, so when you go to for example, when you go to a bank, yes, they have all our details. Yes, when you just give them your maybe your account number, and they are able to retrieve they are able to bring out a lot of information based on that number. Yes, supposing I want to find out what is the balance in my account, or maybe um, who or maybe my details, like my personal details, all that is stored in the in a system called the database management system. So there are various types of database management systems. There are different kinds of softwares available within that. So all these kind of uh, all the different kinds of banks, your school, for example, your school also, yes, all your information about your personal details, your birth date, your parents' details, their mobile number, your address, all this is saved in a database. So we can get that information whenever we want from the database. Yes, did you understand that? So all these come under the general purpose software. Then there is another one, that is graphic software. Yes, nowadays you see your your Cartoon Network such a lot. Yes, all these are basically, there are special softwares which allow you to create graphics at ease. Okay, earlier it used to be a very complicated process of creating of making a cartoon film, but now with the help of graphic softwares, it has become fairly simple. Yes, so this is another category of software. So all these are your general purpose softwares, yes, which come under your application software. Then next, under your application software is your specific purpose software. Now, what do you understand by specific purpose? They are designed to meet the specific needs of a user. Yes. So something like I have a requirement where I want. Yes, I think there was a problem with the connection. I'll start with this section again. So your application, under your application software, we just saw the general purpose software, and the second one is your specific purpose software. So what is your specific purpose software? They are designed to meet specific needs of a user. Yes. So for example, your railway stations, yeah, your railway system, um, they need a specific kind of a system which allows them to generate your tickets or check the different kinds of different trains for a particular state. Yes. So and the availability of uh, uh, the availability, whether you will get the tickets or not. So it is a specific kind of a requirement. So your where you can book your tickets. So when the requirement is of a specific nature, yes, you um, you make or you generate specific softwares which, for example, your railway your reservation system. Another example of this is your Tally. Tally is basically used mainly for your accounting purposes when you are buying or selling, or maybe some kind of trade that is happening. It is all it is basically you it is all recorded in a system called Tally. Yes. Then you have your billing system. Yes, all your billing data is it has to be specific. Yes. So your whatever purchases a person has made, okay, or what are the price, what is the price of that particular product, all that is a specific requirement. So all that is stored in a database first of all, and from the database it is a system is made, okay, which is called your billing system. So all these are, it's a specific requirement. So all these come under your application software. I hope you understood today's lesson. Yes. And I hope you were it was useful for you. I'm going to stop sharing this. Yes. So I'll be sharing this PowerPoint presentation with you. You can go through it again. It's a new concept that you have never learned in your previous grades. So you need to focus a little bit, and if you have any queries, you can get back. Yes. Till then, bye and be safe.